show. Turn the music off real quick, chat. All right, because we gotta talk. And we got to talk because I am noticing a very, very disturbing trend. And now here's the thing. It's been happening, but now as we see more of these type of allegations come out against some of these high value men, it's starting to get a little concerning because now it's one of those things where we have to start asking the question, well, is anyone who decides to come forward with their stories, no matter how crazy and disturbing it is, right? Are they ever going to get either some kind of support or, some kind of, just a little bit of, how do I say this? Just someone giving it a second look, right? Instead of just immediately going to your corners of the internet, depending on which side you're on, right? Are we ever going to get a time where before we get into it, we just understand the human aspect of it, of what is going on, all right? And the trend that I'm noticing here, guys, is a lot of the, hey, we listen, most of these people that come out with these accusations, they're all liars, right? That's the trend we're going with, no matter how heinous or how clear the evidence is, okay? And when the evidence is there, because it's one thing if there's no evidence. There's one thing where there's no evidence, right? But when all the evidence is there and it's clear as day that this person is probably guilty of what they're being accused of, right? Why is it so hard for us to look at that evidence and make the appropriate decision? Why is it so difficult, right, for us to do this, especially when you get into the manosphere? It's very unfortunate, but we have to talk about it. I actually didn't want to talk about it because I think this whole Vince McMahon thing is kind of gross. And some of you guys know exactly what went down with is it Janelle and whatnot, what happened to her, the whole trafficking. And right now, at this point, when we get to we're in the internet right now, no one is disputing that Vince McMahon isn't guilty. Everyone knows that he's guilty. Matter of fact, people even who worked with Vince McMahon, former colleagues of Vince McMahon, former wrestlers and superstars who are now coming out and denouncing Vince McMahon because they're now seeing the truth. And some of them, they're privy to information we who are outside observers aren't privy to. So they know this man, Vince McMahon, right? They know the kind of degenerate this guy is. Now, here's the thing. Anybody who's been doing any kind of research or actually knows wrestling would have known that Vince McMahon has been involved in multiple scandals, some of them sexually, right? Matter of fact, a lot of the payouts, he had over 10 to 12 million dollars in payouts alone to like 3 or 4 different women. Okay. And that was to basically hush him up so they don't talk about some of the depraved things that went down. Now, here's the thing, people. There's no doubt, no denying that when you look through the evidence, when we saw everything, the documents that were out there, the text messages that corroborated a lot of the things that were going on, it's a no-brainer to look at that and say, yeah, this guy is definitely sadistic. This guy is definitely guilty of trafficking. I mean, the Loverboy method clearly was in play. There was a lot of different manipulative and cohesive efforts that were in play to get that woman to do something that otherwise she wouldn't have done, right? And here's the thing. She even voiced and vocalized, and we saw the evidence of it, that she didn't want to do it. But the pressures of the job, the pressures of all these other things combined kept that woman there, right? And those are the things that we call, coercion and all these other things, right? When you dangle that type of influence above someone, that is a standard of sex trafficking. Now, everybody in the mama knows this. Everybody knows this, right? Matter of fact, people who are more privy to the last trafficking scandal that we covered here, okay, they went through that, the coercion, the deceptiveness, all that stuff. All right, they are certain categories of what is a nationally standardized definition of what trafficking is. As a matter of fact, we can even pull it up here to get a better definition. Now, everybody knows this who's done a little bit of research. Everyone but the Tate brothers. Apparently, the Tate brothers are on a different side of things. And now some people are looking at this and saying, what, Duke? This is understandable. Isn't Andrew Tate getting busted for the exact same thing, right? Doesn't he have a trafficking charge, him and his brother? Don't they have trafficking charges levied against them? It kind of makes sense to see them, kind of defend Vince McMahon here. And honestly, it's not surprising that they did it, but the things that were said and how they did it was very disgusting and actually kind of gross, and it borders lines basically shaming the victim who was trafficked in this case, right? Because the internet is so split apart, particularly the guys who are in the red pill right now. A lot of these guys are sitting there saying, you know what, no, even though we look at the text messages, we look at all the depraved shit Vince McMahon said, he's innocent. This girl wanted it. She wanted all that stuff done to her. That's right. Of course, she's a freak. She loves sex. Why not? It's her fault. The only reason that she's coming out now and complaining, it's the same reason all women do. The money stopped. The money stopped coming. That's why, right? Now, if you guys were smart, you would understand that this kind of trend, you can see how dangerous it starts to get, right? Where all of a sudden, we start going from, let's be rational here and look at the clear evidence that is presented to us, right? The text messages, the things he said and done. I mean, he defecated on this woman's head while the other guys were having sex with her. Okay, there was a lot of sick shit that was going on, and no one willingly signs up for this stuff. All right, so we look at all the power dynamic shit that was at play to keep her there, and then we say, okay, 2 and 2 together, this shit is weird. This shit isn't normal. And the fact that he made her do an NDA, okay? A lot of this stuff is not adding up. We should be able to look at that and say, okay, fine. There's something fishy going on here, and let's look at some more of these investigations. Let's look at some more of these evidence. Let's look at more of these allegations. Let's look at more of the other circumstances surrounding this and say, okay, let's come to a rational conclusion. But the red pill manosphere tards, they can't do that. And partially, I blame the Me Too movement and opportunistic people, right? And people who make up shit. I mean, they're the worst of the worst. And they're part of the reason why we're in this boat to begin with. Because ever since the Me Too situation happened, you know, yeah, there were a lot of real instances of women pretty much going through the same shit that, you know, Janelle went through with Vince McMahon, right? But essentially, there were opportunists that came underneath those coattails and decided to fuck it up for everybody. So now, with the manosphere being conditioned to be fearful, because that's what they teach you guys here. Hey, this stuff can happen to you at any corner, not realizing that the only people it's happening to are the people they're trying to encourage you to be, which is a high-value person, right? All these high-value people getting all these charges and whatnot levied against them. It seems kind of sketch to me, bro. All right, but these guys have been brainwashed to believe that a lot of these allegations, even if they come out, not only is it fake, but the woman is doing it because she clearly, obviously wanted it at that point in time. But now that the money stops, or there's no more money train going on, right? Now she wants everyone to know because she's no longer getting paid. But while she was doing it, she loved it, right? And this is actually kind of disgusting. A lot of this stuff, this kind of mentality of thinking is sick, right? It's sick because to them, they're completely disregarding the victim's experience here and putting their own perceptions on this, or they're what do you call it? Projecting their own perception on it. Because the ladies, red pill guys, they're sexual perverts, most of them. Not all of them, but most of them, right? That's when it comes to, you know, the sexual deviancy and how they treat women or view women. The way Vince McMahon treated this woman is exactly the way a lot of these men see women in these spaces. So it's not surprising, right? But it's one of those things where now they're having these attitudes where they believe that these women wanted the gangbangs. She wanted the shit on her head because she was getting paid, right? She was getting paid, and all of a sudden the money stops, and, you know, now she wants to sue. This is an opportunistic woman. Don't listen to her. I mean, yeah, Vince McMahon was, you know, it was some spicy text messages, right? And this is how they dismiss this shit. They dismiss it as all, yeah, he was just being kinky, right? It's kinky stuff, right? But it's not what it is. The girl liked it. She needs to move on. Now, the reason why this is so scary is because we see this kind of, this kind of stuff happening, not just even in these trafficking allegations, but in situations where women were raped, right? A lot of the men in the red pill, they talk about, well, why don't the women come forward immediately, right? And it could be due to multiple different reasons, right? We don't know what those reasons are. It could be multiple reasons, different reasons why they don't come forward. But the fact of the matter is, if they do come forward, it needs to be investigated to make sure it's a real claim. If it's fake, they need to be prosecuted. If it's real, the person who committed that needs to be prosecuted, okay? So, but the reason why most people don't come forward is because of shit like this, where all of a sudden there's this bias against what people say, right? Instead of just being non-biased about it, they automatically think, yeah, you know what? She's probably lying. All right. And the Tate brothers is very interesting because they're guilty of this exact same crap. They are absolutely guilty of this shit, right? Matter of fact, Andrew Tate just recently lost his court appeal, okay, to ease restrictions, meaning that, you know, they're trying to fly out of the country now. Because you guys remember when we left off on Andrew Tate went from being under house arrest to being under city lockdown. Okay, and then he was able to move around, you know, because he was locked down to book arrest, but now they opened it up where he can move around Romania itself, right? But that wasn't enough for the Tate brothers. They wanted more freedom, right? I guess it's gonna help them, you know, do what they need to do content-wise on the internet. So they appealed to go ahead and ease more restrictions, and that was recently rejected because obviously it's like, how much more travel restrictions do you want to ease, bro? At this point, you'll be able to fly out of the country, you know, and we won't be able to do anything to you because we're still an active investigation going. So no, rejected. And he had just recently had to show up to court. This guy knows everything that's going to be levied against him. He knows exactly what's going to be used against him in court. So he knows that a lot of this stuff, there's evidence to prove that you might be guilty, bro. But you understand that him and Vince McMahon are going through the exact same shit, and it kind of makes sense for why he needs to cover it. But I think we need to go ahead and break this stuff down because the way they did it was very interesting and it was kind of disgusting to me, right? There was a little bit of sarcasm in this, and it was like a good cop, bad cop kind of thing. Or in this case, you know, someone that knows exactly what's going on and being deceitful, and another one who knows exactly what's going on but purposely is being sarcastic. Okay, so essentially they're talking about this issue with Vince McMahon, and Tristan Tate is playing the part of someone who is outright saying, yes, she's a liar. That bitch wanted it. No, that's I'm not joking. That's what they were saying. We're about to play this shit and react to it because it's kind of gross, right? It's basically just victim shaming, which is it's like, okay, bro, what? That's disgusting. But that's what Tristan is doing. And then Andrew comes in and he's playing the sarcastic role, right? And in this sarcastic role, he's trying to play devil's advocate, right? And he's saying, oh, no. What? Women just who love being sexual objects for their bosses, they just file a complaint or file a report the moment the money stops? No, that never happens, right? Playing off like he doesn't know what Tristan's talking about. But they know what they're both talking about, and they're preaching that stuff to their incel audience. And now what they're doing, which I feel is pretty dangerous, right? They're getting a lot of these young guys and convincing them, practically conditioning them that, yeah, whenever a woman reports any of these things where it relates to, you know, sexual misconduct in the workplace, typically she wanted it until it was inconvenient for her, right? And that is the mindset they're conditioning a lot of men to start seeing things at, which is not the greatest mindset they want to have. So before we get into this video of Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate talking about this crap, all right, we have to cover the sponsorship of today's show, and that is the YouTube like button. More specifically, you guys in the chat right now, you guys who are watching this, you guys can be anywhere in the world right now, but you're spending time with dukendon, and I appreciate that. So go ahead and sponsor the show, and the easiest way to do that is just smashing that like button below the screen. And if you fuck with the show, go ahead and hit that subscribe button too, okay? We expose these people almost on a daily, so it's actually just worth it. So let's go ahead and pull up this mess because I was absolutely disgusted that these two even had the audacity to open their mouths.
Very wealthy man named Vince McMahon.
He owns the World Wildlife Fund.
I'm not doing this.
Come on, you want to peddle your crazy conspiracies on this website Rumble where you're allowed disinformation and misinformation. You're going to come here with your insanity and tell me that he's not a human trafficker. I have conclusive evidence because I have the timeline of events that proves once and for all he's a human trafficker. So let's hear your side of the story, and then I'm going to tell everyone at home the truth.
Okay, so it goes a little bit like this. He hired a girl who worked for him. Okay, yeah, he hired a girl. She had a job. And because wrestling happens in different places, she traveled around everywhere that the WWF had shows. Now, it turns out this girl liked to get fucked by him, a bunch of other dudes. She had access to her phone the whole time because they had.
It turns out this girl liked to get fucked. Can we see the evidence of that? What Tristan? Hey, buddy. Can we see your evidence of the girl saying that she liked to get fucked like that? What is your evidence? Because the evidence we saw, the ones that the courts are going to be using against Vince McMahon, okay? She clearly stated that she didn't want to do it, right? Even when Vince McMahon first tried to traffic her to his doctor or his chiropractor or whatever that dude was, right? Physician or whatever he was, right? She expressed concern in that text message about her not wanting to be tossed around or being, roughed around by Vince McMahon. And you guys don't know, Vince McMahon, I'm pretty sure he was taking steroids. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he was taking roids. Okay, ain't no way you're almost what are you 78 Joe Biden age and you're looking like that. Okay, the guy's definitely juicing. Okay, him, and I don't know if the physician that was involved in that, I don't know if he was juicing too. But the fact that she had to express concerns of being tossed around and beat up, which later cases did happen where she was getting beat up, like she was getting punched and everything, right? Because these guys are sick and sadistic. So, it is what it is. They like doing this shit. So she expressed concerns about it. Even after the other one where you guys defecated on her and did all this other stuff, you guys were really rough with her. And you were asking, Vince McMahon was asking her to go ahead and do some more with some other dudes, right? And she was expressing how sore she was and how she wasn't feeling it, all these different things. And what we witnessed in every single one of those cases is Vince McMahon doing or saying certain things to manipulate her into doing what she already expressed initially she didn't want to do. Matter of fact, when she expressed that she was uncomfortable being tossed around by him and his chiropractor or whoever the fuck he was, right? He then manipulated her by playing the lover boy method. He said, "Oh, I'm in love with you. I love you," right? And then she stopped and said, "Okay, well, I guess you love me," which I think it's fucked up. It's kind of stupid because, it is what it is. But we even see this with Stockholm victims, right? People who have Stockholm syndrome and they fall in love with their attackers or their kidnappers or things like that, right? It's a weird fucking mental screw up, but she agrees to it because she feels as though that Vince McMahon is in love with her. Vince McMahon clearly wasn't in love with her because, that was a tactic and tool he used to control her. So that right there already is evidence enough of coercion. For some reason, this girl just likes to get fucked. So Tristan, since we have these evidence to counter your narrative, what is your narrative to counter what they're saying? What is your proof? What is your evidence to prove that she wanted all of this? Because this is the mindset a lot of these guys are getting into, and y'all need to pay attention. It's honestly sick.
Have exchanged a bunch of text messages, and she was into some haram shit. So was Vince McMahon. But haram shit isn't a crime. So he was spoiling this girl with jewels, cars, money, lots and lots of money, going around everywhere in the world. Now, he sent some very kinky text messages to her. She didn't run away. She didn't call the police. She didn't leave. She didn't ask for help. After these years of traveling around having sex with him and various wrestlers and getting dildoed up the butt and all the stuff that they were into, after the money hose.
I like how he's just trivializing all this stuff. When we read, if you guys want, we could play Bruce's video all over again because he described everything. All right, and when he was reading it out, it was gross. All right, and he himself couldn't finish it up. Right, when he said, "Oh, she like dildos being stuffed up her butt and whatever it is," that's not true. Okay, matter of fact, the dildos that were stuffed up her butt were dildos that weren't even supposed to fit to begin with, okay? And that added to the pain and bruising that went to her body. That was all put in there, right? So you trivializing this is a whole different kind of fucked up. It really is, because they're just making it seem like, oh, yeah, come on, she just didn't like the dildos up her butt. Now she's complaining. I mean, what? I mean, he's innocent. It was just some kinky text. That's it. It was all kinky text. Now you guys are all blown it out of proportion. What's the matter with y'all?
Was turned off, and he was no longer spoiling her financially. She's, I guess, embarrassed about her behavior, ashamed of herself, and she's looking for a man to blame. It's choose your champion. Women who are upset with the decisions they've made, that haram girl Mia Khalifa blames her old manager, they make these poor decisions, and once they're stigmatized for it and everyone knows that they're a hoe, they find a man to blame for their poor decisions.
What? Look at the theory on this big brain over here, right? This guy just says, no. It's because, when the money stops and, he stops, they stop pampering her. Well, she has to look for a man to blame. This is peak conditioning right here, okay? And it's scary. It's scary because now they're conditioning young men to think, hey, yeah, whenever a woman comes forward, yeah, no, it's all because of money, and she's just looking for a man to blame. The men, we're victims. We are victims. Remember the fact that we have text messages from Vince McMahon saying he wants to do all this dirty, nasty shit to her. No, we don't have. No, it's not like we have that evidence out there making him culpable. No, it's that, yeah, these women, they just want a man to blame for their problems. That's it. As soon as the money train stops, that's it. This is weird, bro. It's honestly weird. If for those of you guys don't know, I'm gonna pull up what Bruce Rivers had, right? We're gonna pull that up in just a second, right? And y'all gonna read all that stuff, and then we're gonna go back to what these guys are saying in a second. And you're gonna just you tell me if this is as easy, simple, and frivolous as Tristan Tate is making it seem. Let's continue here.
That man in jail or through a bunch of financial bullshit lawfare because they can't accept personal responsibility. See, I believe that human trafficking is obviously very disgusting, but if this woman were human trafficked against her will, then she could have left at any moment. She could have called the police at any moment. Why is it when the money hose has been turned off on this woman who worked for Vince McMahon and traveled around the world with him everywhere? Once the money hose is turned off, she's now calling her behavior, having sex with him and various other wrestlers and friends of his, human trafficking. Why is
because she didn't want to do it to begin with. Vince McMahon found her at her lowest point in life, right? And he was grooming her the entire time that he was getting her on board, right? Telling her she's gonna get this job because again, she was very vulnerable. She lost her mother. She didn't have an income. It wasn't going well for her, right? And this woman clearly wasn't qualified for any job that Vince McMahon professionally had at the WWE. There was a specific reason why he dangled a job prospect in front of her. Even when he gave her a job, the job didn't even really have any basic description of what she'd be doing. It was just like a position with a title, but no description of what she was doing. So AKA, you're going to be around us, but we're going to be paying you from the WWE coffers. That's essentially what it was. So you give a woman at her lowest point in life, some opportunity, you dangle a job with high paying that she wasn't qualified for to begin with over her head. And then you then flat out said, in order for me to continue this, right? Because remember, there was a period of time she was stressing about the job. There was a period of time where she was like, I don't know, I don't want to do this, right? I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Right. And he got naked and he says, listen, in order for you to get this job, I'm gonna be real with you. You're gonna have to jerk me off. And she did. So him just saying, oh yeah, I mean, Vince McMahon gave her a job. He traveled all around and with her, and she was traveling all around the world and the States and whatnot. She loved getting fucked, and just because the money stopped, now she wants to get on him. That's not true. You're missing the entire grooming process that led up to the fact that she was even attached to that circuit to begin with. And it makes so much sense because a lot of the stuff that Vince McMahon did is very similar to what you two bozos did and why you're facing same old charges right now, but in Romania. Let's continue.
Is that? Because I don't believe she's human trafficked at all. I don't think that's how human trafficking works. I think she's lying. I think Vince McMahon is innocent.
Right. So that's my brother's conspiracy theory. So let me break it down. I work for the prosecution. He hired a woman to do a job, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we know that, women want jobs, don't they? Don't they want all these high-paid jobs?
Yes.
Okay. But she had to travel around, right? No woman wants a job where she travels.
Well, all women want jobs where they travel.
Notice how sarcastic he's being right now, right? So what he's trying to make it seem as though, clearly she wanted that job. She wanted to do all these things. So if she wanted to do it, but then all of this stuff happened, clearly it's her responsibility, right? Because women want jobs where they can travel. Women want jobs that are high paid, right? Right. So again, this is kind of gross, bro. These two people are sick.
Interesting. Are you trying to say to me that Vince McMahon did some haram things?
Yeah.
But we can agree that America is a bastion of morality and that women don't do haram things every day in America. And they certainly don't travel from city to city having sex via Instagram DMs and just having sex with people because they want to, because that would be disgusting and haram. So they don't do that, right?
What does that have to do with her case? What? Oh, no, but women in the West, we know that they don't do haram shit, right? Why are you trying to make equivalency to her situation? Okay, she was clearly targeted. And look at the court cases. As much as you guys avoid reading court papers, right? She was clearly targeted by Vince McMahon and brought up to be able to do the certain things that she was doing with these guys. So you sitting there saying, "Oh well, I mean, look at all. I mean, don't most Western modern women do degenerate stuff?" So it's so weird that these guys are being singled out, right? Like, this is crazy. Yo, the Great Pill Podcast. Shout out to you for the membership re-up. Just get a W in the chat for Great Pill. Shout out to you.
Right. Well, that happens every single day, all the time.
No, Tristan. America is a bastion of morality.
Okay, shut up.
Are you trying to say that an American woman
Yes.
traveled around the country,
Yes.
engaged in free sexual relations with people,
Yes, because she's
enjoyed a dream job,
Yep.
and got paid millions and millions of dollars,
Exactly.
wasn't human trafficking?
No, she wasn't human trafficked at all.
I'm gonna have to argue this. So I've got the breakdown of the actual case that
You do
proves.
the breakdown.
Okay, this is going to prove why you're wrong.
They're being sarcastic, by the way. Andrew Tate is totally in agreement with Tristan right now, but they're being sarcastic. Don't get it twisted.
Human trafficking accusations timeline.
Okay.
In May 2020, McMahon had recruited an individual whom he manipulatively referred to as his friend. Do we agree?
No.
Well, what do you mean no?
They being nice, being mean, kidnapping people, not kidnapping people, any action can be painted. That was written by somebody who wants McMahon in jail. Recruited.
So if you
manipulatively referred to as a friend.
So if you call someone your friend, you're trying to say you're not manipulating everyone.
Let me break
the
this
whole world. Is that what you're trying to say?
So let's say I have a friend. Hear me out. Let's say I have a friend.
You have no
I
friends.
make a guy.
You have no friends.
My friend.
You have no friends.
I meet him and he's my friend.
You have no friends.
Let's make this guy's imaginary name Waston Joller. So I meet a guy named Waston Joller.
Interesting.
And he becomes my friend. Okay. He's my friend. And I travel around the world with Waston Joller. Okay.
Yeah.
And he sleeps with women in different towns and cities when I'm traveling with him.
Interesting.
I have not manipulated him. I've not recruited him. I have not lied to him. He's not human trafficked. He's not sex trafficked. Waston Joller is a man who's just traveling around the world with me.
That is so disingenuous. What are you talking about? No, yeah. If I just travel around the world with Justin Waller or just Waller Justin, whatever the fuck, we know who he's talking about, right? If I just travel around the world with them and he decides to have sex with other people while we're traveling, okay, it's technically not trafficking. Bro, you're forgetting the part where you go ahead and manipulate Justin Waller to have sex with your coworkers and employees, okay? All right? Even though he didn't want to. You're missing out on that part because that's exactly what happened, which is weird that you would even use Justin Waller in this example, bro. Like, would you traffic a dude? Like, would these guys traffic men if they had the chance? Like, again, we know the manager is sus, but the fact that he used a man as an example, it's not even making any sense, bro. Like, why would you even think of Justin Waller in this example? Clearly, it was a woman. So, unless you were trying to fuck Justin, I mean, oh no, that is a weird example, my boy. But yeah, it's not even the same thing because you're leaving out the fact that you are texting Justin Waller about having sex with all these other people. All right, so let's say in your same example, but we're able to uncover text messages of you talking like Vince McMahon did to Jay Waller or Justin Waller, okay? That would constitute you being a predator. That would constitute you being a trafficker. Okay, so you explaining it so simply to your fucking fanboys to make it seem like, oh, this woman, she clearly enjoyed it, but once the money train stopped, now she wants to cause problems. That is completely false. And this example is just weird, bro. Yo, Great Pill, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. Great Pill says, salute to the chat and panel. Salute to you. Yo, chat, let's get a W because he is saluting you guys in the super chat. So let's go ahead and salute him back. Welcome to the show, Great Pill. I appreciate you being here. But this is just so weird. Let's actually go to Bruce Rivers right now because I think we need some context because I think Tristan Tate is making it seem like this was too easy, right? This is such a trivial situation, similar to how they made their trafficking case so trivial and easy. And you can start to see the similarities if you're smart because on their trafficking case, they're saying, well, all we did was have TikToks. We had Talks accounts, and we were helping our friends who wanted to be big on social media with their TikTok accounts, and now they're calling us traffickers. It's like, bro, no, that's not true. Stop it. No, Tristan. We're not gonna let you get away with that. No. The court documents specified that TikTok was a means to funnel your audience into these women's OnlyFans accounts, including the OnlyFans account of Abigail, who is also the mother of your child, Tristan. So I find it interesting that this guy pimps his baby moms, traffics her, essentially, right? And then looks at a similar case to his and say, no. I mean, clearly she was lying. Clearly she wants to get fucked, right? Now think about how they thought about those women who they manipulated to come to Romania and webcam for them. Think about how they view those women. Oh, clearly they wanted to do this. Yeah, it wasn't that I Andrew Tate, used the lover boy method to get them to come to Romania. No, clearly they wanted to come here and show off on OnlyFans. That was the goal. This is sick. Like, this is really disgusting. Let's play Bruce Rivers. We're not going to play the whole thing, but just that segment so you guys can get an idea of what happened. And then we're going to play back what Tristan is saying, and you tell me if it's so simple.
Fuck does that. I love you. I love you so much. I want to shit on you. I mean, come on. Honestly, he says in a text message, and this is why I would love this lawsuit, because she's got all the text messages.
Bro, lawyers are thirsting for this shit right now. Okay, but apparently on the internet, he's innocent.
Notice she's got all the dates, the exact dates when this shit happened.
I mean,
I love it. That's you, Janelle. You just can't get enough, can you? In the future, it's going to be so bad that you'll demand to be fucked twice a day, and not just with blank, whoever blank is, in a three-way. Why not let others see your beautiful, luscious body and watch you shake uncontrollably when they'll go out of their minds. Then I'll find more friends and we'll tie you up so you're helpless. I'll direct them to have their way any way they want. Who can make you scream the loudest? Maybe I'll just line them up and have them scream in your mouth, your pussy, all over your tits and ass, and all the same, you'll be covered in, and we'll make you eat it. I mean, this is just so fucking gross. The next morning you'll be in a little sore, but you're still going to want more. Do you think that anybody really believes that? In other words, we are going to use and abuse and just treat you like garbage. But you know what? I love you. Fuck that. McMahon's going to get his ass literally handed to him in this case.
He'd be lucky if she doesn't own the WWE after this.
So then he pressures her into several different threesomes, in large part because she had no other choice, particularly after McMahon's comments that he had personally assured her that she had not lost her job. So he's holding her job over her fucking head. So when but Bruce, according to the Tate brothers, she wanted this, right? Because what woman wouldn't want a high-paying job? No. According to the Tate brothers and a lot of these manosphere tards, she clearly wanted all of this, all right? She loves to get fucked. That's what these guys are saying right now, which if you guys are reading this, the clear facts and the messages from Vince McMahon himself, clearly what these boys who are alleging that she loves this stuff, they don't know what they're talking about, and they're just projecting their sick, twisted kind of mentality on how they view women on everybody else. Because clearly, even someone reading this to me, like you shit on somebody's head, who would just literally sit there and just wait for you to defecate on their head? That doesn't make any sense. Like, you move out the way or simply say, no, you ain't shitting on me, right? It's crazy. But to them, they think, no, because you're a woman that completely control, of course you want this. Of course you want all these different things inside of you in the roughest and meanest way possible, because, I mean, you just love this, right? You want this, even though she knows for a fact, behind the scenes, her job could be in jeopardy, which honestly, ain't no job worth me selling my soul like that. All right. This is what we see throughout this whole space. Y'all don't need to be selling your soul. I don't care how much money it's paying you. Do not sell yourself. Okay. Because at the end of the day, the hardest thing you can get rid of is regret. You have something of value you're withholding from somebody that they should otherwise have. And to extract something, and in this case, sex, that's the definition of sex trafficking, especially if you farm her out to somebody else.
Bruce, according to the Tate brothers, that's not trafficking. No. According to the Tate brothers, who are currently under trafficking investigations, okay, what you just described, even though we all know that's the universal standard for trafficking, according to them, it's not trafficking. Can you believe this shit?
You know, it's coercion. You know, remember what I've always told you, you know, sex trafficking involves force, fraud, or coercion. She's being forced and she's being coerced. No question about it. And remember when I told you things can start out one way, but they wind up escalating and escalating and escalating. And in paragraph 142 of the complaint, McMahon became more sadistic in his fantasy, focused on control, such as choking, sensory deprivation, pain, humiliation, and group scenarios in which Miss Grant was to be physically overwhelmed and subservient. Who fucking likes that? I mean, nobody fucking likes that. That's just absolute torture. This is a text message from McMahon. Regarding your last picture, you need your panties ripped off, and 3 big and all 3 at the same time. Way up your, as far as they will go, but even farther. And the thickest goes down at your throat, so that it makes you gag and convulse as those big black pound away. It feels like from the start you're being assaulted, but it's made you come nonstop. Just one continuous constant orgasm, and just before you pass out, those big their loads and inside you. As you lay in your stomach, the is coming out of all your holes. It'll turn you over and
bro, what are these people's obsession with black dicks? Y'all ever notice that? This shit weirds me out now. Like every time I be looking some of y'all old white folks, white dudes, I be looking at y'all sketch now. Cause like he's an old dude just obsessed with black dicks. Like what is this a thing that black dudes are not privy to? Hey, do black men need to be on the lookout here? Do we need to be on the lookout for some of these white dudes that may be on the cover here? Why are you obsessed with black dicks, dog? Like, this is such a weird obsession. The fact that it's even a popular porn genre is just alarming to me, dog. Like, this is weird.
All over you again. Honestly. You want this guy over for fucking dinner? You want McMahon over for dinner? This shit's going to be read in court. This is going to be his words. He's got zero defense to it. She's going to own the WWE.
You hear that, Andrew Tate? Just like your victims are going to own your ass, and even the War Room by the end of this, okay? She's going to be owning the WWE by the end of this because it's his words. Just like you, Andrew Tate, your words on the internet being used against you in the court of law. Yeah, you'd be lucky if your victims if they don't take home that Bugatti, they don't own that shit of yours. Because again, he's also, in addition to ease restrictions, Andrew Tate has also put appeals out to go ahead and figure out what's going on with the properties, meaning the cars, the watches, guns, and all that stuff that were confiscated from his household. And that appeal was also denied or rejected, right? So again, you can see the noose slowly choking around the Tate brothers. I mean, they haven't left Romania in God knows how long, but yet they artfully tricked a bunch of young men to believe that somehow, yeah, they're just allowed to go free and do whatever they want. They're not really in any kind of serious trouble, which is not true because their day is coming, okay? It's not a no-brainer, okay? So I hope you guys are listening because the same thing that's about to happen to y'all is going to happen to Vince McMahon. Guaranteed. If it could happen to Harvey Weinstein, you most definitely believe it's going to happen to y'all.
As she should. On one occasion, he instructed Miss Grant, do not knock on the door because if I see you, I will you in the hallway.
Oh, yo, Tristan, wait a minute, dog. Who puts that in the text message? What kind of person, if they really cared about this person, if this was their friend, what kind of person would be saying this, right? Hey, don't go out in the hallway because I can't control my sexual urges to the point where I'm gonna forcefully take you. That's what that word means. Or did we forget what that word means? This is the kind of word that if you go to prison for, they will deal with you because they hate when this is done to women, right? So if someone like Vince McMahon is openly saying, hey, I can't control myself, I might just take you. Even if you don't want me, I'm going to take you forcefully. You think that's something that normal people just text each other when they care about each other? You think that's something they do? No. People who send these kind of message are people who are used to taking something from people, never mind what their objections are. So right off the bat, this should tell you what kind of man this is. And to be honest, Andrew Tate has text messages of him saying the similar things after he choked out a woman until she passed out and she woke up with him still inside her. Let me say again, He choked her till she passed out, and he was completely unconcerned about her limp body to the point where he was still doing it with her until she came to. And that same girl, when she was complaining back and forth, like, I didn't like this was crazy, he said, oh, come on, you're being ridiculous. And then he sends the text message saying he loves graping her. Who does that? Right? But then, no, this isn't trafficking. Okay, clearly she wanted this. She wanted this. We'll play a little bit more and we'll go back to the Tate brothers. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, any rational person can look at this and say this is disgusting. Anybody, except for if you're a manosphere tart.
Miss Grant, do not knock on the door, because if I see you, I will rip you in the hallway. I mean, these are his words. These are his words. He can't control himself. He's a sexual deviant. I'm the only one who owns you and controls you. I want to fuck you. A theme that was often reiterated throughout their relationship. And it's not a relationship.
Yo,
he's got this sex.
Antonio for the $5 super chat. Antonio says, sup, Duke, Vince McMahon went way out of the line because him and Brock forced feces in her hair and locked her inside to have rough sex without consent. Facts. Even though she objected to it, right? Because here's what the Red Pillars are saying. They're saying that just because she consented to it after she initially rejected it, it still makes it consensual, which is not true, because you're forgetting the whole coercion part. She didn't want to have threesomes, but she was coerced by Vince to do it, because there was even a part where he said, oh, come on, if you don't do this, my friends are not going to like me, or whatever the fuck it is, right? And we're going to play that part with him, because you need to get the full context here, right? Because these guys are big on context when it doesn't matter to them, right? But here's the thing. She herself made the objection saying she doesn't want to go through with it. But then what do we see as a follow-up? Vince McMahon coercing her to go ahead and do it, which she ends up doing, by the way. All right? That is trafficking. She didn't want to have sex with these men, all three of them at the same time, and then you coerced her to doing it, and she did it. So just because she ended up doing it at the end of the day does not mean she wanted to do it, or she loved getting done by three guys at a time, or even more. Okay, it means that she was manipulated into doing it, and that constitutes a crime, especially now if the feds are already investigating that shit. Okay, so I won't be surprised if we're looking at some possible criminal charges being filed here, especially when they're done investigating these trafficking cases. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a bold prediction right here, chat, and y'all gonna hear it here first on Dukendon. Okay, he's gonna get criminally prosecuted for trafficking and possibly laundering money, because a lot of those hush money he paid were through the WWE coffers. They weren't from Vince McMahon's personal wealth outside of WWE. They were from WWE, paid to a woman as hush money. So there's going to be a lot of things going on here in the upcoming 2024, and we're going to be covering all of it, okay? Because this guy is going the way of Tate, guaranteed. But shout out to you for the super chat. Sean with the super chat. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. More Deep with the 10. Shout out to More Deep. Let's get that dub in the chat for More Deep. More Deep says, the Tates claim to be pro-male, but Vince has literally put a bunch of male wrestlers in the ground through all the drugs they used through the 90s. Hell yeah. I talk about Chris Benoit a lot, right? Because Chris Benoit, again, he was one of my favorite wrestlers. Him, Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero, wasn't it a heart attack that killed him? And what do we know that is the leading cause of heart attacks amongst a lot of these professional athletes, right? And by professional athletes, I mean guys who are on the bodybuilding or, into the getting big kind of scene, right? The iron, generation iron types, right? It's steroids. Anabolic steroids gives people heart conditions, okay? Or it can lead to some serious heart conditions. So I'm not surprised Eddie Guerrero passed away, heart condition. And he was, man, his personality was larger than life. Hey, put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember Eddie Guerrero. You got the frog leap, and then he pounces on people, right? This guy's responsible for taking multiple lives. And even look at Chris Benoit's case when he went in and deleted his entire family, okay? This guy got so mad at his wife and kids that he took them out of this earth. And look at the way the WWE handled all of that. It's almost as they try to sweep it under the rug and sort of kind of distance themselves away from it, not realizing, bro, that's your boy, though. He took them drugs for you. Not saying that the steroids made him kill his family or anything like that. But, I mean, the way y'all handled that was pretty sick, bro. So you're absolutely right. Vince McMahon is absolutely responsible for destroying a bunch of men's lives, and not even talking about the people who never made it past, some of these other SmackDown shows and attachments that they had to it too as well, even though they put their bodies on the line for this crap, right? He says, during the 90s, for example, Owen Hart's death. Facts. I didn't even finish the super chat. Owen Hart's facts. This is a damn shame. You're right. Dude, again, these guys are the biggest hypocrites. They claim that they want to help people. They want to spread joy. They want to do all these stuff for men. But they're the main ones destroying the lives of all of you guys. And it's crazy how y'all don't see this. It's a play.
Slave, essentially. He makes her take photographs and videos of herself. You know, they talk in the complaint about a superstar. It's Brock Lesnar, and he's using this sex slave to entice Brock Lesnar to come back to the WWE.
That's trafficking, bro. You're using Brock Lesnar or this woman to get Brock Lesnar back into the WWE because I guess he didn't want to be a part of the WWE anymore because the contract wasn't paying out the way he wanted the contracts to pay out. So you wanted to sweeten the deal, Vince, and you said, hey, I got this woman. She's down for anything. Not like she is, but he's saying she is, right? And what did Brock do? Over here talking about, send me a video of you taking a piss. That's literally what Brock Lesnar did, right? That's why he's such hot water right now, because they got him. His former colleagues, they've denounced him. He's been booted from the WWE. The Royal Rumble that was supposed to happen this year, which is supposed to go down as one of the biggest events, that's done. He's getting canceled. And I don't know if they brought in The Rock afterwards or The Rock, was part of a deal to go ahead and distract from what's actually going on in WWE, but apparently this is supposed to be The Rock's or Dwayne Johnson's last appearance in the WWE. But I find this timing a little suspicious because, again, it's like you got one of the biggest stars in movies right now who was formerly a WWE superstar, right? You're bringing him back to a Royal Rumble event that Brock Lesnar was supposed to participate in, but now can't because Vince McMahon and him are being, accused of trafficking. A little too convenient for my taste. A little too convenient, my boy.
He arranges several times for her to send him some erotic videos. The McMahon tells Lesnar that she'll do anything you want. And so he sends her some fantasy bullshit, like either peeing on her or whatever the fuck it is. This is just disgusting. And he's so enamored with himself. He's so fucking full of himself. The power he gets over her, and then he brags about it to other people. So he says, I just passed around my phone to a bunch of guys on the tech crew. They were screaming, oh my God, she's fucking beautiful. Look at that ass. I'd like to get that. I paused to count out loud how many guys there were. 12. I said, okay, there's 12 of you, and she would love to fuck each and every one of you at one time. The guys cheered, but she would only do it if she takes 3 at a time. That brought a huge reaction. She wants one deep in her ass, one down her throat, and one in the, and you can pound her and keep her pounding until you pop your, she may scream and try to say no, although it would be difficult to say anything with the down her throat. If you love somebody, you really want to traffic them around to 12 guys. Baby, these
Andrew Tate, I thought there wasn't any evidence. What is this, bro? But she wanted to do this, right? Vince McMahon had no play in this whatsoever. She totally wanted all of this shit to happen. Just listen to this crap.
These guys were having a blast with me. Some of them didn't believe me, so I said you were the greatest fuck in the world, and no matter how much you get, you always wanted more. She didn't want more. She did not want more. He used a toy on her, a vibrator, of some kind that was not meant to go inside, but he put it inside her anyway. And she had a hard time getting it out, and she bled for days. This is just all about sheer domination, sheer control, sheer cruelty for the sake of cruelty. When Brock Lesnar couldn't make it, he had this all set up, and he was going to have him come in, and but thank God there was a snowstorm. Well, not thank God, but there was a snowstorm. He couldn't make it. And another time he couldn't make it for some other reason. And on the time that he had this meeting all set up with Lesnar, right? McMahon did. And he couldn't make it. So McMahon himself decided, and you've seen Lesnar. Lesnar's not a little fella. I mean, he's huge. He's just absolutely huge. And he said, "Oh, good thing I didn't make it because, you know, you wouldn't fit in there after, after I got done with her." I mean, this degrading of women is so ridiculous.
But you understand why a lot of these guys are sharing the same sentiment. It goes to the root cause of everything, the lack of respect or the lack of humanity even given to the opposite sex. These guys are so angry with the opposite sex that they don't even see him as human anymore. You got to understand that, like, to the point where they're just thinking, yeah, women are just, sex bags. Why not? Like, of course they like this shit, right? Not realizing, no, she didn't. She just wanted to not lose her job. That was it. That was it. But again, the mindset a lot of these pill poppers filter it through, it's such a, again, it's a really, really disgusting mindset. It just shows you how deep the hatred goes. A lot of y'all really need therapy. You don't need the manosphere. You need therapy. Okay. And no, it's not gay to go speak to someone about your problems. No, it's not weak. No, it doesn't make you a sissy. Okay. The manliest thing you could ever do is talk to someone that you can trust about issues going on with your mental health. Okay. That is the strongest thing anyone can ever do, is admit that they have a problem and they're not perfect. But the fact that y'all think that y'all are great in this department and it's just the women's fault, it leads to these types of thinking where you don't even value the opposite sex as human anymore. That's why they're okay doing this shit. Andrew Tate can say, "I love raping you." Of course. Why not? Because you want it, right? This is the kind of mentality. This is why we do the channel that we do, because we're seeing a bunch of this stuff popping up. I'm even seeing it in my immediate life. Right now, people talking about Andrew Tate. This is something I thought I would never see. I thought it was just internet shit. Now everybody's talking about him. Young boys and, all ththese different things. It's like, yo, okay, ladies, y'all are going to have a tough time getting out there, especially in the world. Because you know how that whole, you remember when it was okay to beat a woman in the household when you were married? They would even had TV shows referencing that. Y'all remember those times? Ironically, it's the time that a lot of these pill poppers want to bring us back to, right? Traditional days, right? Where women were kept in line in the most interesting ways that these guys can do it. Think in the future. These guys keep adopting this mentality. It's not hard to see, I'm not saying it's going to come back in full scale, right? But it's not hard to see in many pockets of certain countries where a lot of these men go in and selectively find weak girls to abuse in the same way we're seeing this in this manner. Y'all got to wake up, man. This shit is serious. Amanda with the 2, shout out to you. Amanda says Vince will get his black cock in prison. Yeah, I mean, he's so obsessed with it. The moment he goes to jail, he's gonna get all the BBC he wants is gonna be in prison. Guaranteed, dog. You just better hope it's not a federal prison, because ain't no parole when you're in federal prison, dog.
I don't know what you get out of that. You know what? I get so much more just by being sweet, and seeing a genuine happiness in somebody else. But McMahon isn't like that. McMahon wants torture. He wants to see suffering. So when Lesnar couldn't make it, she's there waiting for him. So McMahon shows up instead. And what does he do? He role plays. And he does a role play. And he smacks her around. He does everything under the sun to her. How in the hell he's not prosecuted for this is beyond me. I implore the U.S. attorney or the district attorney for whatever jurisdiction this is. It might be Connecticut. I'm not entirely sure. But wherever this happened, somebody's got to look into prosecuting Vince McMahon.
Now, this was before because we already covered it in our last video, but they already have. He's now being federally investigated. So that's now because they're looking specifically at the trafficking, because the trafficking is a federal crime. Okay, you're moving people across state lines and forcing them to have sex with people that they wouldn't want to have sex with. There's a lot of coercion and fraud and forcefulness going on in there. So it's not that hard looking at these text messages and looking at Vince McMahon's past to say, all right, there might be a cause for a trafficking case here, and let's go ahead and start building it. And that's what they're doing. Okay, so again, now people are saying, but it was an NDA signed. An NDA cannot protect you against a crime. And on top of that, the whole reason why this is out in public right now is because Vince McMahon didn't finish his end of the deal when it came to the NDA. Okay, so you can't just create a non-disclosure agreement all right, force somebody into it while them being present while you're committing crimes. And then when it's time to pay up, you don't pay up. And that's, I mean, what are we doing here? This is crazy.
Because you got it all over his own text messages. And he wouldn't let her leave. He would not, which is false imprisonment, which he did multiple times. I mean, on one occasion, he's with this John Laranot, and they're in the office. The two of them corner her, lock his door, whatever, and between the two of them, against her will. Now,
I believe it. This guy sends her a text message saying, hey, cover up in the hallway because if I see you, I'm going to grape you. He said that. No man I know, and if I do know them, I will excommunicate them and report them to the authorities immediately. But no man I know has ever said this to someone with a friends with benefits. It doesn't matter if it's a girlfriend or whatever it is, right? Even role playing, this is a sick shit to role play because rape is serious. It's not a joke where you can just start role playing that kind of crap. It's horrible. Okay, so when you're just out there saying, yeah, no, you better control yourself because if you don't cover yourself up, I might just take you without permission, right? Of course we can imagine him doing this to her with two random guys where she walks in his office, they lock the door behind her, and then they proceed to have sex with her without her permission. They raped her in his office. All because he assumed that she was just going to be okay with it. This shit is sick. And we're not going to sit here and start normalizing this crap. That's not what's not going to happen here. Okay, let's play a little bit more. Let's get back to these the tater tots talk about this crap in a frivolous way that makes it seem, oh, it's so trivial. What? This woman clearly loved everything that happened to her. Notice how they don't get into details.
Some people could say, oh, she's making this up. You know, that'll be the retort from McMahon's crowd, right?
It's not McMahon's crowd. It's the entire manosphere and guys who believe in a lot of these, I would say to a certain extent, people who are mainly on the right. Now, here's the thing. Okay. I'm not saying that just because you're on the right, you're doing this. But again, remember what I've been telling you guys from the start. The red pill isn't dead because a lot of people think it died with, Fresh and Fit getting canceled. No. A lot of them are grifting into politics, and they're becoming, Republicans. Even some of them are trying to beef with prominent Republican influencers right now. Raul Tomasi has been doing that with Matt Walsh for months now, okay? And now people are starting to pay attention, okay? The red pill is desperate, so they're attaching themselves to conservatism, i.e. the Republican movement, whatever it is, but they're known as the alt-right, okay? So not the right, there's an alt-right, just like there's a far left. We got the alt-right, which is a lot of these Tate and the weirdos that are fully on the Vince McMahon camp, and it's just weird, right? So, listen, just because you look at the text message and say, yeah, my conclusion is definitely he was complicit in this, and she clearly didn't want this because we can see her text message, you're going to be in trouble here, right? And it's not saying that we're softies or we're in the, we believe all women camp and we want to cancel people. No. All right. Clearly, we've even had situations on the show where we've called other people out for falsely accusing people. So this isn't about, false allegations or anything. This is about looking at the evidence that are there and making the acute judgment to realize that, okay, something off is here. Let's go ahead and investigate it further. But what we see on the internet and the people who are on the other side of things are saying, no, clearly we had the Me Too movement, which is an obvious disaster. That's exactly what this is, right? She stopped getting paid and now she's pissed off. That's it. But the whole time, she definitely wanted to get raped. This is disgusting. And we got to wake up to this crap.
You don't make this shit up. You don't make this shit up. These are his text messages. You always wanted more. And then I said, oh, she loves baby. These texts, as we call them, they were having the time of their lives listening to my truthful story. I then said you would take a 10-minute break between each fucking, and then you would get back on your hands and knees. I mean, come on. Who believes that? Who believes somebody would love to do that? Oh, beat me, whip me, call me dirty names, and have multiple people beat the shit out of me. Stretch out every hole I've got. This is on page 29, paragraph 148. On occasions when Miss Grant informed McMahon that she was physically injured during their sexual encounter, McMahon's responses varied from apologies to non-accountable pushback and blaming impulse control. Oh, I'm sorry. I just can't control myself around you.
That's why I had to smack you around and shove dildos up your butt, that didn't fit. That's why. Because, it's not my fault at the end of the day. Again, another trait we see in these tater tots, all right? The lack of taking accountability. No matter what, they can't be responsible for it. It's either the girl's fault or it's somebody else's fault. I can't control myself. It was that.
When encounters were particularly brutal, Miss Grant learned to bookend the truth of her injuries with compliments to create the least amount of pushback from McMahon. What does that sound like? That sounds like coping. That sounds like coping in a situation that you can't get out of. When you're in this situation, I guarantee you, she doesn't, people say, oh, she could leave at any time. Bullshit. You don't feel like you can.
Always say that. They always
she's with some powerful people. When you're a billionaire, like Donald Trump or Vince McMahon, guess what you think? You think you own everything. You don't take no from anybody. You think you can do whatever the fuck you want with whomever you want. Bullshit. She texted she was in pain and bleeding a lot between last night and today. This is on the the extra large toy that I was talking about earlier.
This is I'm on the floor right now because I can't get comfortable. Right? That's what she was putting on out there. I mean, look, she's even saying she was still really uncomfortable and got hurt in some way. I'm having trouble describing. Look at this. Yeah, but she wanted this though, according to these perverted dudes out here. Yo, Hugo, shout out to you for the 5. Hugo says Tates will act like the standards for trafficking has been altered against them, despite the facts that the standards being the same longer than their business. Facts. And what they're doing, especially when we get back to this video here, is they're using Vince McMahon, try to make it seem like this is some kind of witch hunt. They're using that to kind of pseudo justify their situation right now and how all of this could be an easy orchestration against powerful people that speak the truth, right? The Matrix is just coming after us. It's not that we did anything wrong. It's just that this is how the Matrix does it when you're too rich and powerful. Okay. I just can't wait to see the coke train on this, bro. But yeah, the facts are all there.
Earlier. She says, I'm on the floor right now because I can't get comfortable. She's in pain. Then she texted him, still really uncomfortable. I got hurt in some way and I'm having trouble describing. McMahon apologized, saying that sometimes I just get carried away. Keep in mind that,
and those were all in quotes.
His goose is kind of cooked because a lot of these are his own words. Exactly.
I'm saying it's all in quotes. They're quoting him, so he acknowledges that she said she was in pain, but apparently these pill poppers it just skips right past their heads. No, she clearly wanted this, right? This is sick,
baby. He's not the only one. Blank called me this afternoon, begging to eat you and fuck you with his nice and hard dick. And then she says, give me another week, baby, and I'll be ready. I'm feeling more like myself. It's not great, but it's getting better. Tell him soon. In other words, I don't want to do this right now. I already told him, baby. By the way, Johnny wants Tuesdays and not this coming one, an occasional Saturday, but maybe I can shift it to Thursday nights.
Johnny wants Tuesdays. So, but accordingly to the Tate brothers or Tristan Tate's example with Justin Baller or whatever example he was using, right? Yeah, if I hire Justin and I bring him around and we travel around the world and he has sex with multiple people, I mean, does that mean I trafficked him? Only if you sent text messages to him, especially saying that he doesn't want to have sex with all these other people. But then here you are saying, oh, I already told him. I already told him you were down to do it. I already told you were DTF, girl. You got to do it. This right here, Tate bros, this is called coercion. She's letting you know this isn't something she's feeling comfortable with. And on top of that, she's still in pain. But here we got the coercion part of it that Tristan neglects to put in there. All right, so let's go back to this video and watch them try to cope for Vince McMahon over here and make it seem like this was nothing than what it actually is.
Manipulating
Wait,
everyone.
Let me break
the whole world. Is that what you're trying to say?
So let's say I have a friend. Hear me out. Let's say I have a friend.
You have no
I
friends.
make a guy.
You have no friends.
My friend.
You have no friends.
I meet him and he's my friend.
You have no friends.
Let's make this guy's imaginary name Waston Joller.
Oh, Waston Joller.
So I meet a guy named Waston Joller.
Interesting.
And he becomes my friend, okay?
Mm.
He's my friend. And I travel around the world with Waston Joller, okay?
Yeah.
And he sleeps with women in different towns and cities when I'm traveling with him.
Interesting.
I have not manipulated him. I've not recruited him. I have not lied to him. He's not human trafficked. He's not sex trafficked. Waston Joller is a man who's just traveling around the world with me, doing whatever he likes, because that's what he's into.
No.
If-
But Tristan, you forget the part where you send him text when he says, when you're saying, "Oh, exactly, baby. All right." What he says, called me this afternoon begging to eat you and fuck you with his nice hard whatever, right? And then if Justin Waller says, "Well, give me another week, Tristan. Give me another week, baby, and I'll be ready. I'm feeling more like myself. It's not great, but it's getting better. Tell him soon," right? And then Tristan comes out and says, "I already told him. By the way, Johnny wants Tuesday." So if Tristan replies and says, yeah, this dude that I want you to have sex with, Waston Joller, all right, this dude I want you to have sex with, he wants to book you for Tuesdays. That's what he wants to do. All right, you want to tell me that's not pimping Justin Waller out? I mean, first of all, bro. What? You're missing the whole context here, bro. So you simplifying it saying, "Oh, I mean, Justin Waller just travels around with me," or Waller Justin, whatever you say. He just travels around with me. He's having sex with people. Okay. Well, what is this? You're forgetting this, dog. All right, because then you have to put yourself in Vince McMahon's shoes. You would have to coerce him with these text messages that are already out there and coerce him to do something or have sex with those people he didn't want to have sex with to begin with. Your example is stupid and only serves to go ahead and corrupt the minds of a bunch of tater tots out there that aren't privy to evidence.
If Waston Joller was a real person.
No, but
Have I human trafficked Waston Joller? Yes or no?
But you refer to him as your friend, which means it must be manipulative, because here inside of the case
he
file,
is my friend.
in the case file, it says that McMahon had recruited an individual who he manipulatively referred to as his friend.
No.
Meaning
Shut
that
up.
saying that she was his friend was pure manipulation
It wasn't, though.
done with evil intentions, and he's never had. I have a question for you. If McMahon's WWE
Okay.
hired 0 women ever,
Okay.
would they get in trouble for that?
Yeah, probably.
Why would they get in trouble?
Someone would bring it up and make a big deal. They'd be attacked by the woke police.
So you're telling me that diversity quotas ensure that he has to have a woman travel around with him and get paid large sums of money to go to different cities and have this dream job. He has.
Now they're bringing it up about equality and equal rights, right? You see how they make this about the gender war? What does this have to have with society making sure that women are in similar jobs as men, right? What does this have to do with that? So you're basically now saying, well, you know, if Vince McMahon didn't hire her, well, then Vince McMahon will get in trouble by the woke people because there's not a woman in there. What? Never mind the fact that he already has female wrestlers. They already have a female division, okay? And she didn't do that. She was basically following him around like an assistant. Her job didn't have a clear description, okay? And worst of all, he used that as the sword of Damocles to dangle over her head for whenever she decides to fuck up. And by fucking up, meaning she doesn't want to have sex with any of these men. What are you guys talking about? This is gross. Yo, Allison Leo, shout out to you for the super chat. Allison says, "Oh my God, dude, as a woman, this is horrible to hear. I can only imagine how she felt. I hope she wins the lawsuit." Oh, she gonna win. Allison, she will win, okay? It's just only a matter of time, okay? The real question here is, how long is Vince McMahon going to prison for, okay? Because once the civil lawsuit's done, the criminal lawsuit is going to get started. I almost guarantee it's going to happen, okay? The real question is, how long are they going to put him away for, and how much is he going to lose, right? That's the big question. But, yeah, it is very horrible, and this is why we got to talk about it, because as even someone who's a father to a daughter, if this is what I got to look forward to for suitable men out there, this is crazy. This is crazy. Men who just think, yeah, it's okay, and women who just get abused, yeah, they wanted it. They definitely wanted it. This is sick. All right, it really is. We got to grow up from this kind of mindset. Yo, Charles Indig with the 20. Let's shout out let's get a W. Shout out to Charles Indig in the chat. Let's get them dubs up for Charles Indig. He says, "Sup, bro? Ain't gonna lie. When they said Vince gets a role play and he names the toys after the wrestlers, I couldn't help but laugh. Seeing Vince use black toys, calling it Booker T, and playing his theme music. Facts. But it just shows you that these guys, they're obsessed with black dicks, dog. I'm being real with you." And the thing is, my whole life, I always thought that, you know, certain white dudes hated it when you have sex with white women, right? I always thought that, like when interracials, black men and white women get together, I always think that, you know, there's a Nick Fuentes type out there that thinks that's gross, right? I have no idea that undercover, maybe they could be projecting, chat. Maybe they outwardly project that they don't like it, right? But deep down, they love seeing black dicks, especially inside of their women, right? I mean, maybe, but the obsession is a little wild. I mean, the guy literally named sex toys after black wrestlers, dog. I mean, he's got to be fantasizing about this at some point, right? I mean, can we call this sus? I mean, it's got to be. I won't be surprised if it comes out that Vince McMahon had a bisexual experience, chat, or one of these sus experience, right? It's always these over masculine men, right? These super rough and tough dudes, right? They always do the sus shit. That's why you always got to watch out for them. All those guys who are super manly, right? Oh yeah, that's gay. This is gay. That's gay. Look in their closet. All of a sudden, you see them doing a bunch of weird shit. Like behind the scenes, and they just project the fact that everybody else is gay because deep down they probably sus themselves, right? So maybe, I don't know, but this obsession with black dicks is starting to get alarming to me.
Is to do it whether he wants to or not.
Yeah, no doubt.
Interesting.
That's the way America works.
And if this woman ever has sex with anyone at any point during her job, that's his fault, and he should go to jail.
Yes, that's the case.
Makes sense. I mean, he'd be innocent if he didn't manipulatively tell people that she was his friend. Someone said, "How do you know this person?" And he said, "Well, she's my friend." That's open and shut.
No. He says that Johnny wants Tuesdays. So clearly she's more than a friend, you bozo.
That's jail. Do you agree that's jail? That's as close to jail as I mean, there's mass murderers and rapists and crime and drugs, but this guy called someone his friend.
Yes.
Okay, so
Are you stupid? We literally have text messages of him saying that she better cover up or he will rape her in the hallway if he sees her. He literally talks about raping her, dude. Like, what do you mean? Oh yeah, all he did was call her his friend. That's it. And now he's going to jail. No. That is not it at all. And a lot of you tater tots coming in my DMs talking about Duke. All right, I saw this video. You are completely mistaken. Okay, this girl, she was completely. She knew what she was doing. All right, and it's unfair that you don't cover the other side. It's like, what are you talking about, huh? I mean, did you not read the same text message that we read? Because he basically exclaimed that he wanted to force himself on her because he can't control himself. Okay, but here comes Tate here saying, oh no, all he did was call her his friend and then introduce his friends to other men. And now all of a sudden he's going to jail. See, boys, this is how the Matrix gets you. This is complete trash and fear mongering if I haven't seen it myself.
You agree he's already half guilty at least?
No.
May 2020, McMahon had recruited an individual whom he manipulatively referred to as his friend to engage in a threesome. A threesome. Wow, nobody has threesomes.
So if
No, Tristan, that's terrible. I can't think of anyone who has ever had a threesome, ever.
So if I traveled to Colombia with my friend Waston Joller, who isn't
doing? Why are you smiling like that? You think you just said something profound? You think you're being cheeky? You think you're being smart? What the fuck is this? Right? Why are you smiling like this? You think you're clever? We know what the fuck you're up to, Tate. Yeah, of course. I mean, you just rationalizing this as that is not only very telling, but it's also trash. He's always smiling like that. Ah, yeah. What? Like you just said something that was, bro, shut up.
If I traveled to Colombia with my friend Waston Joller.
Look at him. What is he doing?
Who isn't a real person. This obviously never happened. This is all hypothetical. And he had sex with 2 Colombian women. Did I human traffic him?
Only if he told you he didn't want to, and you got caught with the same text message this McMahon just got caught with saying the exact same thing, right? If Vince McMahon expressed that he didn't want to do it, but later on you coerced him to do it, and it's caught on text messages, all right? Yes, it's trafficking, okay? You're making it seem like, oh yeah, Jay Waller wants to have sex with these Colombian girls, so did I traffic him because we are in Colombia and he wants to have sex with the girls? No, but you're putting out a context. The context would be if your example didn't want to do this, right? He just wanted to fly around and chill with you and didn't want to have sex with anybody else and didn't want to have sex with you, just wants a strict business relationship, but you were coercing him to have sex with these Colombian women, all right? And then he's saying, give me another week, baby. I'll be ready when I'm feeling like myself. If Jay Waller was saying this, right, he's saying it's not great, but it's getting better. Tell him soon, right? And then you come out and say, I already told him. All right, I already told her, right? That you were coming out to have sex with her, Jay Waller, okay? But Johnny wants Tuesdays, All right, Johnny wants Tuesdays with you. What if it was, instead of Johnny, it was Sally? Sally wants Tuesdays. Okay, Tristan Tate is texting Jay Waller that Sally wants Tuesdays. That's coercion. You're missing a huge part of the context here. Okay, which is insane. But again, you got to understand, a lot of tater tots will gravitate to this kind of explanation and they'll run with it.
Yes.
No, I didn't though. That's not human trafficking.
The friend turned out to be McMahon's physical therapist. On the day of the threesome, Miss Grant showed up to the condo.
Okay, so
for the threesome.
So she shows up. So obviously it's not a situation where, you know, he says a threesome's going to happen. She's terrified. She doesn't want to partake in this threesome. She shows up to the threesome.
Yeah, that's because he manipulated her.
No, it's not. It's because she wanted to get dicked.
Are you
what? Oh my, y'all listening to this? And they're both fucking around here, but obviously you know they're serious. Oh yeah, but she traveled there, so clearly it wasn't against her will. She wanted to go to the condo. If she didn't want to go to the condo, she shouldn't have showed up. These guys, and it makes perfect sense because they don't understand. I mean, Tate doesn't believe depression is real, right? So it makes sense. These guys don't understand how people get mentally manipulated into doing things they wouldn't have otherwise done. Okay, so they're thinking those she came there by herself, so clearly she wanted to get fucked, right? No, manipulation. No, she didn't get manipulated to that. She showed up by herself because any grown woman, they could just said no, right? But she did. But Vince McMahon coerced her to show up. That's what happened because he promised that Johnny wants Tuesdays. So Johnny would get Tuesdays. Otherwise, Janelle wouldn't have a job. Now, would she? This is disgusting the way they're just rationalizing all of this. It's pure cope.
Trying to say that women make their own decisions, and that every time something happens that they don't like, they can't just blame a man for somehow tricking them into it?
Yes, she made her own decisions.
Are you trying to say that women are adults?
Yes.
And in the world we live in, we have given them the rights and the agency to come to their own decisions and conclusions, and they should live with the repercussions of their own actions like a man has to? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
That's disgusting.
But even when men have to go through that shit, we call it unfair. So what's with the doublespeak? Any man would not tolerate, because men get manipulated in relationships a lot. We talk about this, right? So you guys will scream if it's a man getting manipulated into these scenarios, but then when it's happening to a woman, oh, well, she wanted it clearly. Okay, what about these men that get manipulated? They could have just said no, but why would they manipulate it into the scenario to begin with, right? They could have just walked away, but they stayed there, so it's their fault. I mean, are you guys even thinking here or what? This is crazy.
That's disgusting. You're saying if a woman makes her own choices based on her own free will and then later regrets it, that's not a man's fault?
No, it's not.
That's disgusting.
So she shows up to the threesome. Continue.
Goes into the threesome. When she gets to the condo, she reiterated that she did not want to have a threesome. She expressed fear of being thrown around like a rag doll by McMahon and the physical therapist who he's involved with. After she clearly stated she wanted to back out, McMahon responded by telling Miss Grant for the first time that he loved her, stunning her into silence. And then she had the threesome.
So she gave consent.
No, because he manipulated her, because he says, I love you.
Yeah, that's clear manipulation.
Reluctant consent is still consent. If a woman says, oh, I don't really want to, but okay, he's going to buy me a bag because he's fat and ugly, it's still consent. She gave him.
What? Yo, what did he just say? Bro, if we went with your logic, there'd be a lot more people getting abused sexually out there in this world. You're saying, oh, well, she still gave consent, so it's still consent. That's not how that works. Someone could say yes, but if they express no, all right, then it's no. If she came through and she says, all right, but then even when she was there, she expressed that this isn't something she wanted to go through with. And yet this person coerced her by using words like I love, because people don't understand. Love is a powerful word. So if he uses that powerful word on her and says, I love you, and he gets her to do it, just because she gave consent afterwards does not mean it's still consent. That part where he added that piece, I love you, those powerful words, right? When he added that piece, it became coercion. If he just left it there and said, all right, you don't want to do this, you don't feel comfortable about this, all right, cool. We don't want you to do anything you're not comfortable with. That's how you should work, right? Even in the craziest sense of BDSM, they have safe words, right? So even if they get comfortable with the kinky shit they're doing, there's still that love there where the partner is able to ease back and make sure that their partner is safe, right? But in this case, she's expressing those concerns because she doesn't want to be tossed around and ragdolled by two big dudes, all right? And then you tell her she loves her, she does it. That's not real consent. That's not real consent. So consent isn't consent. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not how that works. Like, this is crazy. And it gives you an idea how these guys' minds work, right? Who knows how many women who express that they didn't probably want to have sex with them or do these different things, and yet the Tate brothers use Vince McMahon type tactics, because we know they're guilty of the lover boy method. They use those same tactics to coerce the girls into doing it. How many more girls this has happened to yet? We don't know. We're going to find out once the court cases are released. But you can just tell based off how they're just rationalizing all this stuff.
Consent to have sex with her.
Are you telling me when a man tells a woman he loves her, it's not pure manipulation with evil intention?
This is not the emergency meeting we're supposed to be having.
I'm just trying to understand. Let me ask you a question then. You're so fucking smart.
So, man tells a woman he loves her to have sex with her, because that's never happened before in human history, no?
What?
Has a woman ever told a man, I love you, to get financial reward?
Women, 100 women tell me a day that they love me to try and get some financial reward from me.
No, women never lie.
Yes,
women never, ever lie. And if they do something and it benefits them, they'll do it as long as they can. But if there's...
Why are you equating a woman financially gaining something from a woman and comparing it to taking somebody's body? That's two different things. Your money is not your body. So people can lose money, especially dudes. We can get it back. Money is not. It's not worth your life or worth any your principles or any of that. It's money. You can always make money, right? But taking something from someone, i.e. their bodies, especially without their permission, is something completely different. So y'all just equating that, it gives me exactly what I need to know how you guys view even sex, right? To them, it's a transaction. Because in their minds, money is all a man has to value, and women will do whatever they can to get that from a man. And in their mind, from women, sex is all that they value, right? And so a man would do whatever to grab sex from a woman, right? That's the way you're trying to rationalize it right now. So in a sense, right, we both are manipulating each other. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. Okay. It's two completely separate things. So again, this is really disgusting just hearing this.
There's ever any repercussion for that benefit, because there's usually no light without dark, then it all becomes the man's fault.
Yeah. So
let me understand something.
Well, no, let me read. I'm going to read this message. Regarding your last picture, you need your panties ripped off and 3 big black dicks in all 3 of your holes, all the way up, your pussy and your ass as far as they go. Thickest cock goes down your throat, makes you gag, blah, 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 blah. So she got these messages, okay? She receives these messages. And then instead of calling the police, saying this man's going to try to make me have sex with people against my will, instead of calling HR, instead of raising a complaint, she goes and does the sexual act. She has a phone. She has her free will. She's safe. She has money. And she goes to do these sexual acts. And now she's trying to say that this clearly consensual sexual relationship that these guys were in
clearly
is somehow human trafficking.
What he says.
That's not what human trafficking is. Human trafficking actually happens. We do realize this. Tristan Tate, Vince McMahon. We do realize that human trafficking actually happens in this world.
Yeah. And you two are being charged for it right now in Romania. What are we talking about?
Young boys and girls are being raped by people who use them and kidnap them and move them across country borders. It's not telling people how to get popular on TikTok, and it's certainly not whatever Vince McMahon.
You notice that? It's not telling people how to get popular on TikTok. They're referencing their own case. They just referenced their own case. No, you didn't help those women get popular on TikToks. You ran webcam agencies and used TikToks as a means of funneling new subscribers to those webcam agencies. Okay, it's specified there in your indictment report. You sitting there making it seem like, oh yeah, we just helped some few women with their TikToks, and now we're considered sex traffickers. It goes deeper than that. Just like this Vince McMahon shit that you're trivializing that. It goes deeper than that. Okay, Vince McMahon clearly coerced her to do a lot of things that she didn't want to do, and she even expressed that, and there's evidence of that. That's why lawyers are licking their chops right now when they're watching this case, right? They're all fighting to get this case because they know that they're gonna take the WWE for everything they've got, because they got him on text message. So you comparing that to your scenario, it's just so telling, and it makes sense why you have this opinion, right? Because you think, well, all we did, we can't consider that trafficking, right? This is just the Matrix coming after us. I mean, we're just rich men, and these women want us for our money, so they're willing to do anything for it. But then when we don't give them our money, now they want to get us in trouble and put men in trouble. See, men, this is why the world sucks for you. Because no matter what you do, the Matrix is still going to come for you. It's like, listen, bro, first of all, yeah, there are legit scenarios where people get penalized. We see that, first of all, in the prison systems where there's false people who get in trouble and things like that. And some of them get executed, right? We definitely need reforms to that. So they're real people who are going through shit based off of false accusations, okay? And some of them, they even have the Innocence Projects that goes out of the way to help these guys, especially when they look through the evidence. If you guys were facing the same scenario, y'all won't get no type of help, because every evidence is being used against y'all in your situation was provided by you guys. More specifically, your dumbass bald-headed brother over here who couldn't know how to keep his mouth shut. Had to let everybody know about his trafficking and money laundering ways. This is so interesting.
Man was up to. He is not a human trafficker. I think Vince McMahon is 100% innocent. Got any more to read?
Look at these bozos. Look at this.
I'm reading this and I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah, but are you going to say something stupid next?
But no, it's not stupid, because from what I understand, not only did he call her his friend, not only did he say he loves her, he also manipulated her by buying her loads of expensive things. And that is a crime.
Oh my God, it's not a crime.
So he found a woman, told her he loves her, and then bought her loads of stuff. And you're telling me
you're forgetting the other shit that he put her through. What? Yo, Chet, are you seeing this? Are you seeing it? You see how they just trivialize everything? This is what muddies the waters, and this is why it's so dangerous, all right? Especially people who actually go through serious shit like this, because this is how idiots like this manipulate other people's minds to thinking that even though your legitimate case may just be a case of you being an opportunist, right? Because they're making it so simple. He called her his friend and then gave her a bunch of money, and now she's coming after them. Whoa. This is crazy. You and I, chat, both know that's not what happened. Chat, come on. We know that's exactly what didn't happen, okay? He didn't just refer to her as a friend. Matter of fact, here's evidence of him saying or trafficking her. Saying Johnny wants Tuesdays. All right, the other text message talking about, oh, yeah, 12 guys in a room. I told them who all wants to have sex with you, and all of them raised their hands, and now we're talking about it, right? He's describing passing her around to other people that work in the same establishment. You're missing that whole context, bro. So, of course, if you're explaining it in the way you're explaining it, yeah. Listen, any rich guy can just call a woman his friend, all right, and then the government's going to be after you. You can just take care of a woman and pay for her stuff and whatnot, and the government will still come after you because we can't win as men. Let's just forget all the perverted shit he had her do. This is crazy, bro. The way they're rationalizing all of this is crazy.
He doesn't belong in jail? What things did he buy her? Do you have a list of the things he bought her?
I don't have a list, but it's cars, jewelry, houses. That's not human trafficking. That's not human trafficking. That is a situationship. That is a mutually beneficial relationship where...
Well, it's called making somebody else do something crazy and giving them hush money or hush gifts. That's essentially what those things were, right? I mean, let's just be real. You're getting her clothing, you're getting her cars, you're giving her money on top of that. And let's not forget, let's make her sign an NDA so she keeps things in a hush-hush. That's not a mutually exclusive relationship. Okay, that's a weird ass fucked up dynamic that's going on. Okay, it's clearly payment for the other services he made her do. I mean, think about it. He has other female employees that are in the WWE. Do they all get cars, clothes, fancy watches, and all these different things? Did they all get that from Vince McMahon? No. It's just this one particular woman and somehow all these other girls that also similarly are filing the same complaints. They were the ones that had to go through that. And what's the one thing all those women have in common versus the regular employees who are women that work at the WWE? Well, these women were completely manipulated and brutalized by Vince McMahon and his cronies versus the other women were not. That's why they don't sign NDAs, but this specific group of women that were moved around and had to get push money for, they were sexually engaged with Vince McMahon and his cronies. Those are the two biggest differences. This is so dumb.
This older man, he's in great shape, to be fair to Vince McMahon, though. He's not ugly, but he's an older man with a lot of money, is having sex and getting sexual favors from this younger woman. I assume she was younger, by buying her things. That only happens, I don't know, about 1 trillion times a day all over the world. Vince McMahon is not a human trafficker.
But
shut up.
No. Serious question now.
Serious?
Yeah, serious.
All right, let's go.
She only convinced him of human trafficking when the money and gifts and houses and cars and jewels stopped, which means she was trying to acquire as much evidence as possible that he's a human trafficker before going to the police.
No, stupid, because she was doing all these things. Some were illegal, by the way, and she was covering her ass, right? CYA, cover your ass. That's what she did. So she knew what she was doing was wrong, but the fact that she had NDA signed, all right, she couldn't go out and speak on it. But once McMahon stopped paying on the NDA legally, at least that's what she was thinking, she's open to talk about this and she's open to prosecute him, right? That's what she's doing, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, so it wasn't, the money just stopped because Vince McMahon stopped paying her. No. He made her sign an agreement that was non-disclosure, okay? And he stopped paying on the agreement that they both signed. He reneged, essentially. That's what he did, okay? So it wasn't that he was taking care of her, they didn't have this NDA, and all of a sudden, Vince McMahon moved on to another girl, and now she's pissed off and wants to take everything from him. That's not what happened. Like, this is crazy that they're rationalizing it like that.
You're trying to annoy me because you're making these stupid jokes. This is what's happening to us.
Oh, no wonder. No wonder y'all so defensive about it.
It's not a laughing matter.
It is.
Stop taking the side of the retards.
So she was trying to acquire as much evidence as possible.
No, she wasn't.
Every word he said to her was manipulation. Nothing's her fault. Her own decisions have absolutely nothing to do with this entire situation. Because women are so easily tricked and fooled by a man's manipulation.
No.
That's why they have to adhere to the rules their fathers give them to protect them, which is why America is a society where we have accepted that women can be tricked into anything and they have no control over their own actions.
That's stupid, dude. Like that this is such dumb logic. It's not even it's not even funny. It's actually kind of sad, right? That's not how manipulation works. They're perfectly rational people, brilliant people, and some of them, they'll be Scientologists, right? They'll join a clear cult as a cult, right? But these are some of the most brilliant people out there. Why is it that they get easily manipulated into obvious cults, right? Why is it they don't see the scam? We have people who are smart all over the place. They will still fall for some kind of scam out there. The thing is, at the end of the day, we're human beings. We have emotions, we have feelings, and those feelings, depending on where our moods are at, can be ripe for manipulation if the right person comes along. That's just how it is. No one out there has a super mind. I could get manipulated. I've been manipulated before. Some of y'all in the chat have gone through that. Everybody has gone through that. It's a unique human experience, okay? The key thing is to recognize or have some help to help you recognize when that situation is going on. For instance, people get manipulated in relationships all the time. all the time. Matter of fact, relationships end because of manipulation and gaslight and all these type of things that go on in that. So for you to try to say, yeah, this is what it is, it's happening, by definition, women, they can't make decisions for themselves, right? That's why we're in this society. No, that's not true. We know that. And you know what kind of games you're playing, okay? Women can make decisions for themselves. It's just that people get manipulated, okay? So do men. It happens to dudes all the time. There are dudes that get finessed on a daily. We sit there and laugh at them online, right? Where they get finessed by women on dates. And then we say, yo, how could you not see this? Clearly she wasn't into you. But these guys, they don't know any better. So do they deserve it? Is that by your logic? So then if they deserve it, how are you here to help men? Because I'm sorry, Andrew Tate, you've duped a lot of men with your webcam business. So do those men deserve it? I mean, this logic that they're putting out there doesn't make any sense.
Which means they're always a victim of everything all the time, and everything is a man's fault, which means they have to obey their fathers for protection, which is why all American women are so strict sexually and so morally pure and obey their fathers all the time, because if they were allowed to be loose and make their own decisions, they'd clearly be human trafficked.
I'm getting angry just listening to you. I don't even know. Even though you're not being serious, you are making me actually angry. You're annoying me.
Why? Because it would be insane to live in a double standard.
What's he smoking, dog? What's Tristan smoking? That looks a little too skinny to be a cigar. I mean, it looked like he rolled that up. Hey, y'all know what he's smoking over there? Hey, some of you tater tots in the chat. Hey, what's this right here in his hand? Okay, because listen, as a green connoisseur to another green connoisseur over here, it looked like he's smoking something else other than cigars. Okay, that looks a little too thin to be a cigar. Maybe it's a black and mild, right? Is that a black and mild? They got black and milds in Romania. Is that what he got? Come on, because he's inhaling and everything, right? So what? You're not supposed to inhale cigars, I thought, right? So that's definitely not a cigar. What's he smoking over there? Hey, y'all, tater tots. What's your boy Tristan smoking over there? Look at this. Look at it.
Because it would be insane to live in a double standard in which women are believed to be completely free agents, which are equal to men in intellect and capability, and they can make all of their own decisions all the time. But at the same time, if a man says anything to them like "you're my friend" or "I love you" or gives them things, and they instantly become slave robots and have no control over themselves, that would make no sense whatsoever. It would also make no sense whatsoever for a man to be responsible for all of the bad repercussions of a woman's actions.
Yeah, we do that in the red pill. You're doing that right now. Okay, we make men not responsible for their own actions. That's what we do here, right? So why are you even making that example? You look stupid.
Not have the capability to tell that woman to do certain things. Let me give you an example. Let me prove why you're wrong.
Okay.
Because if this wasn't human trafficking, right, we're going to assume that Top G, let's say I have a girlfriend called Mary. And Mary, every time she does anything, if anything bad happens because of her actions, I'm responsible and I have to pay the price and I have to go to jail. If that's the case, then I would be very strict in telling Mary what she should and shouldn't do because I have to pay the price for her actions. But the fact that I can't tell her what to do because she's a free agent, makes her own decisions, and is equal to me and is not below me and does not have to adhere to the creeds of any man because she's a feminist, that means because I am not responsible for her actions, I cannot be accountable for her actions. It would make absolutely zero sense to live in some kind of society where women have no responsibility whatsoever for the negative outcomes of their own actions, but also have to listen to absolutely nobody ever who does have to pay the price for their actions.
The only way it make no sense is if you just take manipulation out of the equation and just assume that no one has ever manipulated anyone on the face of the planet. That's the only way that shit would not make any sense. So you're not even including that in an equation because you yourself know that's what people do, especially when they did it in your shoes because you're being charged for it right now. Okay, so yeah, there are perfectly reasonable people out there who are perfectly rational. Okay, but they get manipulated. Okay, some of them I've seen, they will join cults. Some people I've seen, right? I've had bros who are smart as shit. They will get involved in an abusive, manipulative relationship, and even we would sit there and tell them, bro, she's clearly using you, bro. She's clearly messing with you, bro. She's obviously cheating on you. And some of y'all can relate because some of y'all have had brohems who've gone through that situations as well. All right. No matter how much you tell them, they would think you're the problem because they've been manipulated, gaslit, and had their brains scrambled for so long in that relationship. They genuinely think that you're their enemy and not the woman who's isolating them from their friends and family. Right? We see that happen all the time. So to sit there and say, oh no, so is that guy, he's fully responsible, right? Even though we know for a fact that this shit goes on, right? So everything he does by chasing his friends away and doing all that, he's fully responsible. Her manipulating him, no, that has no bearings on that. Okay, if that's true, why do all these men complain about that shit online? Your goal should just tell them, suck it up, buttercup, move the fuck on, right? But you guys don't do that. Instead, you talk about how manipulative women are and women will do this to you. It's the matrix. Women run the world. You will create this world to alleviate responsibility and accountability for these men. And the thing is, we say this all the time. We say, hey, you guys, that's okay. This is what's going on right now. You gotta understand this is what's happening. We say this, but y'all will say, no, Duke, it's clear woman. She's evil, right? Why is it that you always blame the men, Duke? Right? Wait a minute. Y'all talk about accountability, right? So where's the accountability here? So wait a minute. When it's happening to a man, no. It's got to be the woman's fault, right? It's a woman's fault. But when it happens to a woman, well, she's a woman. She's an adult. She can do what she wants. And now they're talking about free will. We're getting to the free will conversation here. This is crazy, bro.
That would be an insane double standard under the law in which men are not safe to do anything. If what you're saying is true, you're saying that a man can't have a company where he doesn't hire women because he'll get in trouble, or does hire women because he'll get in trouble. He can't possibly win. He can't have sexual relations with a woman because if he tells her he loves her, he's a manipulative, horrible person. If he has a girlfriend as a billionaire and buys her nothing, he's tight and he's controlling because he won't give her financial freedom. If he buys her things, then he's deliberately manipulating her into human trafficking. You're making it sound like we're living in some crazy society where a man can't possibly win no matter what he does.
And there's the victim statement. There it is. That's all I've been waiting for. Because you can't end this conversation without making men be the victims in some way, shape, or form. Y'all see how they're doing this? Yeah, no, it's a man. I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Wait a minute now. But if it was the women, it's the same deal. No, it's their fault and responsibility. But then if it's a man, oh, well, he got manipulated and he can't win. And even if he wanted to exercise his power and right, well, then women just use society against him and crush him. So you can't win as a man. This is insane. Like this manipulation on a massive scale to young boys and their mental state is freaking insane. I can't believe you guys aren't seeing this.
And that makes no sense at all. And I don't believe it.
Now, honestly, for some reason, I love the way Andrew goes against Tristan. It's like they're playing the dumb and the logical side. And it seems like Andrew likes to play the dumb side for some reason. And the main reason I like this whole dynamic is the way Andrew Tate exposes the whole idea and the whole...
Listen to this fanboy. This is a fanboy Tater Tot channel. All right, I couldn't find this video anywhere else because the Tates are part of the Fumble Rumble Regis squad, so you already know. I mean, that's Rumble. They're way the fuck over there, right? But just looking at it, just listen to this Tater Tot. Yes, well, Andrew Tate's explanation makes so much sense, right? And the way they did it, oh my god, it's brilliant. They're on these dudes nuts like it's nothing. Boy, if you don't stop.
Stupidity mindset by explaining exactly why it's stupid whilst acting like it. And it can't really be put in words. We all just saw the way he actually talked about it. But yeah, guys, give me your thoughts on this.
Listen to this guy. He says the way Andrew Tate talked about it, he exposed the whole thing. He exposed to everyone how stupid this was. Never mind there's actual evidence of Vince McMahon and his text messages. Never mind we have evidence out here of what Andrew Tate said and did and wanted to do to this woman. No. Andrew Tate actually exposed the whole thing. Guys, you didn't know that? Andrew Tate exposed the whole deal, bro. And this is how it works. Okay, it makes so much sense now because of Andrew Tate's explanation on what's going on. Honestly, who believes this? Who believes this crap? Right? All the evidence out there, it's AI. It's not real. This is a frame job for Vince McMahon. This is crazy. I'm sorry, chat. This is weird. Like, I couldn't believe my great value ears when I heard this, right? And I was watching this video. I'm like, yo, what? These people are just making up. They're excusing this guy's behavior, even though we have evidence. And you got to think about it, right? Because the Tate brothers are in the same book. Tristan said it himself, okay? They're in the same boat where there's a numerous evidence out there against them. They know they're going down, right? But till their dying days, they're going to claim that it is the Matrix fault. All of this is because of the Matrix. All they wanted to do was help a few women with their TikTok accounts. That's it, right? But now, because they wanted to be nice, right, and help women with the TikTok accounts, all of this is coming out of nowhere because the mainstream media and the Matrix wants to destroy rich men. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, because anybody who's rational and they're looking at this stuff, we'll even play a little bit more of this, right? Anybody who's rational and they're looking at this stuff, they'll come to the same conclusion that I came to, okay? Yeah, we know what's going to happen when the court comes. We already know what's going to happen. But from the evidence we're already privy to right now, this shit is sick. Let's continue.
Johnny would love all the above. In other words, this isn't just for me. You're doing this for all my friends. And that's just to make him feel like he's a kingpin. And he would constantly remind her of the connection, her job and her role as a sex object and her work. Let's work and play hard too. So in paragraph 169, McMahon also indicated on April 2nd, 2021, that Miss Grant should obey if Laurinaitis wanted to bring in yet more men. I mean, I don't, it's unfathomable to me that you would do something like that. And remember what I told you early on? The way he kind of got her to, I mean, he told her he loved her. I guarantee he promised her all kinds of things.
But Bruce, you forget, he called her his friend. So technically, according to the Tate brothers, it's not trafficking, Bruce. So, I mean, what are we doing here?
Maybe he wants 2 other guys to join him. Holy shit. You've told him you would do anything with him. So if he surprised you with 2 others, you would have no alternative than to take him on. In other words, you can't say no. Oh my God, the stories you could tell me then, because that gets him hard, right? It makes me want to come right now.
He's cuck, bro. This is cuck behavior. So her telling him stories of having sex with his chiropractor or personal trainer, whoever the guy was, that turns him on to the point he wants to jack off to what? So you're going to come because you're imagining this woman with another guy. This is cuck behavior. This is why are we sitting here pretending that the biggest cucks aren't high value dudes? Can we stop pretending? Right, chat? We need to stop this pretentious games we play and act like high value men aren't the biggest cucks out there, because that's what I'm seeing. Look at this. He literally gets off on imagining her having sex with other dudes. Wait a minute now. I thought you guys hated that type of story. I mean, y'all went in on Sneeko when he openly talked about this, right? So all of a sudden we're team Vince McMahon when we see the evidence of him admitting that he's a cuck.
By the way, I thought of what I think is an excellent idea. Maybe you can hint that if he knows someone, you can be discreet. It might be better if you and Johnny try him out first so you can get more comfortable before he's introduced to me. Actually, that makes total sense, doesn't it? How could you live with yourself? You know, and no wonder she's got PTSD. No wonder she can't leave her fucking house. One more text message. The compliments will keep coming, baby. Just wait and see. I totally understand and agree regarding being scared of communication and photos. Johnny gets drunk and sloppy and could easily make a mistake that could cost him.
Look at this mess. He's admitting that, yeah, this guy is going to be careless. She's already expressing she doesn't want to send photos or do anything. Look at this coercion. He's coercing her right now. He's basically acknowledging her fears, but then in the same sentence, putting those fears to rest, right? Even though he admits that the guy he wants her to be revealing to is a sloppy dude that would definitely expose you, right? What kind of, think about this. But yet, according to a lot of these tater tots, no, she wanted this. Even though we're clearly seeing the clear resistance she has to this, in their minds, no, she wants this.
His job, and yours too. Verbal communication is the way to go. That said, have you and Johnny talked about breakfast tomorrow? She says, we haven't discussed it at all. It's up in the air. Johnny complained about getting a new phone, and it just arrived. I haven't set up a time coordinate setting it up with IT because I needed him to assure me that he's erased everything he's ever saved. Truly, I regret that he ever got pics.
There she's saying that again. She told him before. Now she's telling him after. I regret this, right? I mean, you can't say he didn't see this coming. You can't. Any of you making excuses for this guy, you're an idiot. You can't say he did not see any of this coming. This is him clearly coercing her, right? And she clearly saying that she didn't want to do it, and when she did do it, she regrets it. So then, where is this narrative coming from that she wanted all of this? Where are you sick, twisted dudes coming out with this narrative that she enjoyed every single bit of this? This is weird. Y'all are looking at the same evidence we're looking at, but y'all coming to that conclusion. It makes me think that a lot of you guys are way more mentally fucked up than I originally thought, clowning y'all in this space. Because if that's true, that's crazy. Which I think I'm starting to think it's true. Y'all are mentally deranged.
It's not worth the stressing I'm feeling. I'm done with it. And then there was the issue. His wife finds out, so she's got to leave. That's when the whole NDA comes into play. Now, she was given gifts during this period because that's what they do, you know, medical care, access to the Belmont Stakes, WrestleMania. Oh, wow. That's exciting. A $2,000 Nordstrom gift card, massive box of Godiva chocolates, $20,000 towards surgery, pearl diamond necklace, cashmere knee-length cardigan, blueberry cashmere scarf. I mean, a BMW, you know, I'm sure a lot of people that worked for the company got cars.
That's exactly what I was saying. But according to Tristan Tate, right? He called her friend. He called her his friend, and he bought her all these gifts. Clearly, it's not trafficking, all right? But did any other woman get the same treatment she got? Oh, they didn't? So what was the difference between those women that didn't get the cars, didn't get the luxury gifts, didn't get the catered dinners, right? What was different between those women and this particular one and all the other girls that had to sign an NDA that Vince McMahon paid out to? Oh, that's right. He trafficked them. That's why. That's the biggest difference. Any of you bozos can easily ask the same question. Why is it that those women didn't get BMWs and all this same golden parachute that this woman specifically got? Because this isn't a gift. This is hush money. This is to keep her quiet and ensure her quietness, then this not coming out. But they fucked up because we're seeing it right now.
$5,000 gift certificate to Lanfear Spa, $15,000 gift cards for Bloomingdale's. You know, I mean, so what? I mean, all those were just placating bribes is essentially what those were. So let's just kind of go through the counts themselves.
Yo, Axe Addict, stop playing around before we really uncover you over here, because we will expose you. Stop playing around. Stop. You know exactly what you're doing. Stop playing around, bro. I don't play with you threatening the chat. So you better stop playing before we expose your ass. All right? Because I know you out here fucking around. Stop playing. Because you on the channel with real deals over here. We've done this before. Stop playing this game with us, okay? Before you get unmasked. That's not funny. Stop coming after my chat. Everybody in the chat, you got to be respectful. All right? I don't want to hear none of this nonsense because we know exactly what the fuck's going on. Stop playing with me. All right. I don't want to see any more of these messages down there. You know exactly what you're doing in the chat. Stop threatening these people. All right. Before you really get unmasked. Okay. If you don't believe us, we've done that. Stop playing these games.
You know, I wanted to give you a flavor, and I think you have a flavor now of what this disgusting case is about. And it's not really disgusting from her standpoint. I mean, she was really coerced into doing this crap that she did. And she can't be blamed for it. She's got to be believed, as I see it. Declaratory relief, count 1. NDA voided under Speak Out Act, 42 USC 19401. So that's a federal statute saying that these kinds of NDAs are void, unenforceable. Declaratory relief, NDA voided under common law against McMahon and WWE. So essentially, the first two counts are I know they signed this NDA, but we want it voided, and we want it voided under U.S. statute, and we want it voided under common law.
Yo, ask at it, because it doesn't matter. Listen, the way we do things here, I don't care. Like, I'm one of those channels that I don't think people really understand. I don't care if you troll me. I don't care if you do any of the, I don't care, but you don't threaten people. Okay, you don't do that. So I'm telling you to chill, not because you listen. You can troll Char back, troll him back, but don't sit there and threaten them. I don't respect that at all. Okay, I keep things fair in my chat all the time. The one thing I don't talk. If somebody was doing that to you, Axe at it, my attitude would be the exact same. Charblaze does nothing else but troll this channel. Everybody in the chat knows this. He does nothing else but troll this channel. But when you start threatening people, listen, I gotta be consistent here. I'm not gonna sit there and let you threaten people in the chat. Don't do it. Listen, let them troll them back, but don't threaten to like unmask people and dox people and stuff like that, because that shit's real. Don't play with that stuff. Okay, troll them back, but don't threaten people and whatnot. Listen. I don't care if they troll me. You could troll me, but if somebody decides to threaten you, I'll get up on them too. So I don't play with that. Everybody, because here's it. I mean what I say when I say it. You guys could be anywhere in the world right now, but you spend time with dukendon. That means a lot to me. So if you're here, respect the chat. Unless you're being blatantly crazy, then you gotta go. All right, but I don't care if we gotta have love for trolls. We gotta have love for people, because then how are we gonna get them to understand that they're being fooled if we sit here and start doing all this crazy stuff? We can't threaten them, whatnot. So yeah, you do gotta chill. No threats, no nothing. That's just how we are here. If you don't like it, I get it. I get it. Not a lot of people are fair to people that don't like them. Okay. And not a lot of people are like that, but this channel is different. We don't play that game here. I respect everybody in the chat. You don't have to be here, but you're here. And the fact that you're here, I respect it, regardless if you're trolling or not. Okay. So again, let's not, don't stop. Just troll them back, but don't threaten to dox people. Okay. Let's just do it like that. Listen, we like, listen, unless you're like out here doing something crazy, we don't really get into that kind of games. Okay, I'm serious about that. I'm really serious about that. Chill on that. All right, don't do any of that stuff. I don't like that stuff. It weirds me out. All right, but chat, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about all this? Okay, do you think, because we're seeing the split happen right now in social media, where people are now taking sides on this Vince McMahon issue, and it's getting out of hand. All right, even the guys who are on pro Vince McMahon, it's getting out of hand. Okay, so you let me know what you guys think, okay? Because I think he's guilty, and I think this is definitely trafficking. So put a 1 if you think, yeah, this is all this right here. I don't care what these tater tots are saying. Okay, this right here is trafficking. I don't care what it is. This is trafficking, right? Or if you're in a Tate camp, again, nothing wrong with that. You could be a tater tot fan. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Okay, and you think that, no, Duke, you're wrong. She definitely wanted all the stuff that happened to her, and now she's just mad because she didn't get paid. Put a 2 in the chat. Your voices are absolutely welcome here, okay? I want to know. I want to know where people stand, especially in this chat here, because to everyone who I would say can look at the evidence, this is clearly fucked up. This is clearly trafficking, okay? Even lawyers who are reading this, and people who are not lawyers but they're reading this, they know something's off, okay? So I don't know what you guys are reading to think that this isn't some kind of version of trafficking, but you let me know in the tag. Axe Addict says, I got you. I'll respect your channel, man. No, shout out to you. I appreciate it. Listen, I'm that's just how I am, right? People think that I'm that channel that hates on everything and whatnot. I can tell you, just being honest with you, I could care less, okay? The hate stuff, the troll stuff, that shit don't bother me, bro. I got thick skin, okay? There's nothing y'all can say in that chat that I don't already said about myself, okay? So I don't care if people troll me, but where I do get worked up is if people in the chat get threatened and things like that. I don't play with that, okay? I respect people in the chat, and you get respect too. Let's get a W for Axe Addict, okay? Let's get a W in the chat for Axe Addict for, being understanding about this. Shout out to Axe Addict for you, and thank you for being understanding about this, okay? Because it's not me trying to listen. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you like me. You're all welcome here. That's just the way I see it, okay? Because again, at the end of the day, it's fucking YouTube, right? Why would you take this personally? It's YouTube. Listen, the people that take this shit too personally are the people that, clearly they really, really care. All right. They care about all this stuff to the point where they'll try to take people down and all that. We don't do that here. To us, we recognize it's the internet. Okay. That's why you come here to clown people. We come here to clown people. All right, that's it. If the trolls want to troll, let them troll. Like, listen, Axe, we got moderators here, and moderators that peep to the game. They know Char. They know all this stuff like that. And moderators, listen, these are the quickest, most stealthiest moderators we got out here, okay? So trust me, they know my mindset. They know that you can troll out here. I don't care. Unless you're not, as long as you're not being threatening or, threatening other members in the chat, you can troll away. They don't care. They see it. They can do it too. And trust me, my mods, they don't play. I've seen them take people out before, and it's like, oh shit, that's crazy. They don't play. They'll let you know too, right? You got Muad'Dib in the chat. You got Vega in the chat. You got some of these other guys in the chat. Antonio in the chat. All right, you got a lot of these guys in the chat. They're watching out for this. But the thing is, the reason why they let Char do the thing he is because they know it's trolling, right? And it's not just him. They do it to all these other trolls too as well. But when they do get serious is when people get crazy, all right? So, and I love that. I love that about the chat because that's just exactly who I am. And you guys reflect that perfectly because I would sometimes you want to come here and troll, you can troll, right? Because there's so many channels, you get banned. They'll kick you out of the chat for just saying one thing in disagreement. Right? They don't ban you and kick you out. We don't do that here. We don't care, right? As long as you're not being disrespectful. But shout out to you guys. Let me know what you guys think. We'll be back at it with another video. Personally, I think this is the end of the line for the Tate brothers. This is the end of the line for Vince McMahon, and I think they're both going to be walking down the same pathway very soon. With that being said, I appreciate you guys being here. You guys could be anywhere in the world right now. Some of you guys are anywhere and everywhere in the world right now. And the fact that you're spending time with dukendon, that I appreciate that. Shout out to you guys for being here, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.